want to make sure I take a moment to thank the people that helped make this video possible. I consider you producers of this channel and of this show. Without your support, these videos would not be possible. So I'd like to thank Rags, Comic Boom, Pop Size, The Frag Minion, Warren JB, Lynchnut, David Osenwitz, sorry if I mispronounced your name, and a penny for your dimes. I also want to thank the people that like to remain anonymous and anybody else that has contributed to this channel in the past. Without your support, these videos would not be possible. If you find yourself in a position you can help and you want to see your name here too as a producer credit, go ahead and look down in the links below. There will be a Patreon, a subscribe star, as well as a one-time donation, and you can see your name up here too. Thank you. Hello, Fruit Force. This is Captain Fruit reporting for duty, and today I'm going to be reviewing none other than ForceWorks 2020 #1. Now, I will admit to this, I wasn't really planning on getting this book until I seen your boy Zack's review, so credit to your boy Zack on this one. And the reason is this. I read the ForceWorks original series, and I didn't really care for it. I didn't like the storyline, I didn't like the art. It was the replacement or a retrenching and a redo and a reboot, if you will, of the Avengers West Coast. Which, by the way, if you've never read the original Avengers West Coast or West Coast Avengers, they actually switched the name. It was a really good Avengers series. I absolutely loved it. And this book has some of those characters in it, and so the question lies, is it going to be as good? And will it have the same dynamics? So if you look at the very cover, I like this cover. I think the cover's got a first point perspective right from the center. It spans out, looks right at you, and shows some of the core characters that are going to be in this book. And I do tend to like that. If you haven't been following this channel, you won't know this, but if you have been, you do. I like U.S. Agent. I do. He's a jerk, and that's what makes him great. I've done a review of some U.S. Agent stuff on this channel. And U.S. Agent's one of those characters that just hasn't been given much of a spot in Marvel at all. So I was interested in that regard too. So jumping into this, we look at it. This book, the writer was Matthew Rosenberg. By the way, good job, Matthew. Artist, which I can never get, something Ramirez. Sorry, Mr. Ramirez. I do like the art in this book, so kudos to the colorist, Federico Belli. I also like the coloring in this, as well as the lettering. I thought it was all good. The cover was definitely interesting to me, and that's one of the things that helped me decide to take it. So this is ForceWorks 2020 #1. But before I jump in too much, if you want to help this channel out, I would greatly appreciate it. One of the best ways you can do is like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below if you're interested in this comic. Did you read the Avengers West Coast or West Coast Avengers originally, or the original ForceWorks? And what were your thoughts on it too? I'd really like to know. That was a great series. So anyway, not like the last one, the current crap that they put out there. That was absolute garbage. So anyway, this is an interesting tale. It's going to start off with East Brunswick, New Jersey. There's a AI, battle against AI, if you will. And it starts with Solo. He takes out one. So instantly I see Solo. I'm like, oh, I'm not a big fan of Solo. Solo's just sort of like a generic character hodgepodge. Just never really interested me. He's the weapons specialist, teleporter, enjoys his job a bit too much, which I thought that was a nice touch. And so anyway, he takes out one of these AI robots, and then we see Gauntlet from ForceWorks, close quarters combat specialist, gets powers from Alien Glove, and doesn't F around, if you will. And I thought that was a nice touch. So I was like, oh, okay, that might be an interesting character to read about. So I'm getting a little interested. And then, boom, we see War Machine enters. And I like War Machine. I think he's a great character. If you followed Iron Man history, Rhodey, good old Rhodey, he's had a big part in the Iron Man lore. And he's developed over many, many years of time. He wasn't thrust on us as an instant replacement. He was a great replacement for Iron Man over time, and then stepped aside, took the War Machine role. It was great in that regard too. His concept, the character's always been pretty interesting. He's had a couple low points though, and he died, right? But he got better, and that's okay. So it says War Machine, ForceWorks, field leader, heavy weapons, a literal one-man army. And how true is that? And that's nice to see him as a field leader as well. So I'm really happy to see more War Machine. But anyway, the op doesn't go well at all. And Maria Hill is the commander, and it says she's in a perpetual bad mood, which really does fit the character well. and she tells James that he blew it, and Gauntlet and Solo are both hurt pretty much. Gauntlet's in the hospital, out of commission for a few weeks, and I'm looking forward to seeing Gauntlet back. I want to know more about this character. I think this character could be interesting, and it says he'll be okay. Solo's fine, but he quit, and that doesn't hurt my feelings because there's a lot of better characters you could spotlight than Solo. If you're a Solo fan, don't at me. Okay, let me know why you like Solo, maybe. Okay, but he's just not for me. So Rhodey's a little bit doom and gloom here, because he did just come back from the dead, so he's not real comfortable. We've sort of seen this kind of thing too in the past, in the Iron Man cartoon series, where he didn't really want to be back in the armor after a near-death experience. So a nice little throwback to that. So anyway, then we get to see another member of Force Works as they go on a mission to save and retrieve Mockingbird and potentially more, and that's Quake. If you're not familiar with Quake, she is their demolitions, because she can shake the earth and make earthquakes. She comes from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. If you will, have seen her a lot on that. So you get to see her there. I mean, there's Quake in the comic books too. But the way this one's drawn and depicted, it's clearly more based off the TV show version of the character. And I think that's okay. She's probably one of the good things that did come from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe not the character actor herself and all of her political pandering, but that aside, the character's actually a pretty interesting character. So their plane gets missiled down. Missile, not just shot, hit by missiles. And Quake is going to be falling out of the plane. And War Machine, almost called him Iron Man, saves her. But also we then find out who else is in the ship, and that's other than U.S. Agent, hand-to-hand combat specialist, tough guy. And it is nice to see him because really, as I said, he has not been treated well. He has a couple good miniseries that were pretty interesting, but otherwise, not much. I mean, you see him got hurt a whole lot in the Avengers, where the artwork was so bad, you really couldn't see how bad he was hurt, but I guess something happened with, like, his legs or whatever, but literally, the artwork was that bad, you couldn't tell. And otherwise, since then, we haven't seen him much. We did just recently see him, too, in Captain America, but the way he was painted and depicted in Captain America almost made it look like he was spinning off into a bad guy, which wouldn't have made any sense anyway. But here it's nice to see U.S. Agent and the capacity that he is known to be. And so he's going out of the plane, he lands a lot rougher than Captain America, because he's not Captain America, and his shield's not the same. So I think that was a nice touch. They didn't just make him a duplicate. And they do throw it in his face a little bit that he's not a Captain America, that he's a knockoff Cap, if you will. And that's I think, great, because that's a sore spot with him. If you haven't read your Captain America history, John Walker replaced Captain America, Steve Rogers, for a short time, because Captain America just didn't want to line up with the ideals of what was going on currently in office, and so he became the Nomad. And while he was a nomad out there taking care of business, John Walker took over. But John Walker was a harder-edged Captain America. He didn't quite have exactly the same ideals as Steve Rogers. He does have very high ideals, don't get me wrong, but he also went a bit nutty. He went a lot nutty, and he just they portrayed him as an uber conservative, and I don't mean just a conservative, but way out there conservative, which sort of sucks that they painted it that way, but they did what they did. Another interesting fact about John Walker is just he is very patriotic, and he is very strong-willed, and that strong-willed is one of the things that made him an absolutely wonderful character to have in the West Coast Avengers, because he just was never getting along. He was like the Guy Gardner of the Justice League that you see in there. He just rubbed everybody the wrong way. There was a great issue when he got in a fight with Hawkeye as well during that series. So he was one that also went to Force Works. So anyway, they go there to retrieve Mockingbird, and Mockingbird was hiding among them. So they do end up getting her, so she technically found them instead of them finding her, which gets the team together. And the interesting part here, too, is, and this made me very happy to see, is so far they haven't particularly went with the feminist crap Mockingbird, which is good. I want to see the 80s version of Mockingbird. I mean, I'm fine with the new outfit, don't get me wrong. I like the new outfit a lot, probably even better than the old one, to be fair. But I hated how they changed her attitude and made her all this feminist crap. Let's keep that crap out of this book. We didn't see any of that crap here in this issue. Thank goodness. I hope it stays that way. But anyway, you see some of the banter, that the relationship, that they get along, that they know each other. I wouldn't say get along. Definitely don't want to say that. So You see the banter that they've been together on a team, which is nice. They're doing a throwback to that. But one of the good things too about this is how they get along. There's a little bit of bickering right off the start, and if you don't know it, that's wonderful because there was bickering all throughout the West Coast Avengers. So this was a really good fit, a tie into the back of, even though they work together, they bicker a lot, they fight. And that really made that series interesting, especially since War Machine, U.S. Agent, and Mockingbird were all on the team. So that's great, absolutely wonderful. And you even see it mentioned too by Mockingbird. She goes, "Man, have I not missed working on a team with you guys?" And that I think was just a really, really good thing. So now we're going to have another throwback too to the past as well, because when everything's starting to look good, they get attacked by Deathlock robots, and they're going to get overcome by that supposedly, and that's where the issue leaves us. So we're getting a lot of throwbacks here. So I really like that. I think whoever the writer here, not whoever the writer is, the writer here is trying to give a little bit of a throwback to the nostalgia of some of us older readers, and I really like that. I think it's playing really well. So is that writer going to know their history well enough to capitalize on this as much as possible? I don't know, but I tell you what, I'm happy where this comic book is going so far. So the art was very good. Not the greatest art, but it was definitely good enough, and I quite well enjoyed it. I liked it. The story was good. The banter between the characters was good. I am definitely getting issue 2. And if you're looking for a new series to try, and you're going, well, I haven't been away from Marvel a while, or even if you haven't, you might want to pick this one up. This might give you the fix of some of those characters if you are especially an old school fan like I am of the Avengers West Coast or West Coast Avengers. Didn't care for ForceWorks very much, but this is definitely a move, I think, in the right direction. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, keep it frugal.